A lot of requests from the various subscribers asking me to create a video on the common support issues in the various modules. In my last video, I had created a similar video on common support issues in Oracle AP module, and now in my current video, I'll be talking about similar common support issues in AR module. So I have divided different issues, whatever I have seen in my career, into three different categories: transaction issues, auto-invoice issues, and then the reset issues. Of course, there are a lot of other issues which I have seen, but of course, I'll not be able to put all those issues in one video. So whatever possible and whatever I was able to recollect, so I just put all those issues in this spreadsheet. So the first one is about unable to complete the invoice. So we have seen a lot of issues in our current client wherein the user is not able to complete the invoice because of the issues with the EB tag. So we also use Vertex in our current client. So what happens is like whenever you create an invoice with a particular customer address, everything will be fine. And then you do not complete that particular invoice, and after a while, like somebody makes changes to that customer address in the customer master table, and then after that, if the AR users try to complete the invoice, you get a weird tax error message. So this is very common in our current client. So the solution for this would be after any address changes, you need to run the geography name referencing program. So GNR program. So this is actually a program owned by your EB tag. So you can run this particular program from your AR module or EB tag. So once this particular program is run, it is going to update internally some tax tables, and your issue will be resolved. The second issue is about for one of our new OU which we have set up recently. All the transactions which are coming from order management are stuck in interface table with an error message like missing Remit-to address. So what has happened is like during our OU rollout, so our business user missed out to set up the Remit-to address, and after setting up of the Remit-to address, the issue is resolved. So after setting up of the Remit-to address, we reran the AutoInvoice program, and then the all the transactions were imported successfully. The next one is about intercompany reconciliation issue. So what user said is like, we have a AGIS module in our current client. So from AGIS, you can generate a subledger related invoices. So one invoice will be generated in AR module, and the corresponding invoice will be generated in the AP module. So one of the AP users said that he's not able to see the expected AP invoice. Then we did an analysis and found out that the corresponding AR invoice itself is not generated. It is actually stuck in AR interface table because of the issue with one of the account code combination. So as the AR invoice is still stuck in the AR interface table, and as it's not being inputted, it's expected that system will not generate the corresponding AP invoice. So we enabled that account code combination, reran the auto invoice program, imported the AR invoice, and after that ran the concerned program in AGS, which is transfer transactions to payable program in AGS, and this has actually created the AP invoice. The next issue is about unable to credit an invoice. Again, this is a very common issue in our current client. So whenever users query for an invoice and then click on tools credit to create a credit memo, we get some kind of a error message whenever we are trying to create a credit memo. The reason being within our EB tags and Vertex, we have certain rules to pull certain information from the original invoice. So whenever we create a credit memo, some of the data elements of the original invoice are also used in our tax evaluation. And so there are a lot of scenarios wherein like invoice is created say 6 months back, and then now say today a credit memo will be created, and one of the data element which is used in our tax evaluation is from the original invoice, and that particular data, there could be some system issues or like setup issues with that particular data element. Maybe we are using say ship from or ship to address from your original invoice in our tax evaluation, and then there is some issue with the concerned what do you call ship to address or ship from information, whatever it is the case. And once we rectify that, the the issue with that concerned data element, we should be able to create a credit memo and complete the credit memo. So this is a very common error in our current client. The next one is about unable to account the AR invoice. So it's because of the missing mapping. So we have different chart of account or for primary and second ledger. So for some of the accounts, mapping is missing. So this is actually visible from our create accounting output. So issue is resolved after making the concerned mapping between the primary ledger chart of account segment value and the second ledger chart of account segment value in the GL and running of the create accounting after making the concerned mapping changes. And another common error is do not have access to one or more ledgers. Again, I do not call it as a common error. It happens like once in a while. We have, as I said, like we have second ledgers in our current client. So whenever you have a second ledger, you need to associate a profile option called SLA additional data access set to the subledger responsibility from where you are running create accounting program. So we have assigned that particular profile option to our normal programs through which normal responsibility through which generally users run the create accounting program. So on one day, all of a sudden, instead of using say X responsibility, user ran the create accounting from Y responsibility, and then the create accounting program completed an error or warning with this message saying that you do not have access to one or more ledgers. And then we had realized that the SLA additional data access set profile option is missing for that Y responsibility. We have assigned that SLA additional data access set profile option value for that Y responsibility. So ideally, the value to be assigned under the profile option value is the secondary ledger. So from the responsibility where you are running create accounting program, the responsibility should have access to both the primary as well as the secondary ledger. So we have associated the profile option, and after that user and the create accounting program, and the issue got resolved. Next is about the auto invoice issues. So we have a scenario wherein our auto invoice program completed an error warning with this error message. Please define all the periods in which the revenue is to be recognized or credited. Note that revenue cannot be recognized or credited in closed and closed pending periods. So this happens basically for the invoices where we use your invoicing or accounting rules. So we have our service contract module. So whenever the invoices are generated from service contract and pushed to your AR interface, and when we run the auto invoice program, we have this kind of an error message. So after analysis, we found that there are some invoices which are created with accounting rule data, say October 1st, 2019 and March 31st, 2020. And we have realized that October 2019 is closed, November 2019 is open, and December 2020 is closed. So we should not have this kind of a sequence that closed, open, and closed. Ideally, everything should be in a closed status. So what we have done is we have closed for some reason, ideally our November 2019 period should not be in an open state. And for some reason, somebody has opened that and we have closed the November 2000 period and reran the auto invoice program, and it resolved the issue. And there was also another scenario, I think couple of months back, we faced similar issue wherein in the same example, like it's like October is closed, November is in close pending, and December is in close status. So ideally, you should not even have the period in close pending status. And we have realized that that period was in close pending status because of issue with one of the transaction wherein system is not able to account that particular transaction, and we have raised NSR with Oracle, and the Oracle was still running. We still did not get any kind of a data fix or solution from Oracle. So that's the reason why that particular period was in close pending status, and it has affected these accounting or invoicing rules related invoices as well. So in that case, what we have done is we have expedited and escalated Oracle SR, and we got the data fix for that particular the other issue. We have applied that particular data fix, and we were able to run the create accounting and put that particular transaction, and we were able to close the period. And as we have closed the period, it has resolved even this issue as well. The next issue is about auto invoice program errored out with invalid or its bill customer enter ID. So after analysis, we found that the bill to customer site has a creation date of say November 1st, 2019, whereas the transaction date is October 31st, 2019. So in this example, it's something like the customer site was created in the system on November 1st, 2019, but somebody has created an invoice with the back date, which is October 31st, 2019. So we just changed the transaction date to November 1st, 2019, and that resolved the issue. AutoInvoice program was running for a very long time, so there was no error message or a clue in a log file or output file. It went for a while. It went for a couple of hours, and we did not even raise an SR. We were about to raise an SR, and then we did different analysis. And after analysis, we found that the records were still in the interface table. So we checked what exactly is the problem with the records in the interface table, and we found that there are some records wherein the org ID is null. Obviously, if the org ID is null, then AutoInvoice import program doesn't know under which OU the records needs to be imported. And those are the records which are coming from an external system. So we raised a ticket with our external system to understand why those records are pushed to our Oracle system with a null ID. So it's a different issue. So, but as far as our workaround is concerned, we manually went into the AR interface table. Of course, we have a screen within, as you know, like we have a screen within the AR module wherein you can see all the interface records from front end screen. So we have updated the org ID in that particular screen and then redone the AutoInvoice program and then resolve the issue. Of course, in order to do that, first we have killed the existing AutoInvoice program, whatever is running. Okay, the next issue is about AutoInvoice program completes an error with this error message. It just says it completes an error with this just APP AR11526 invalid number. It doesn't give any much information on that. So again, after analysis, we found that that there was a custom index which we have created in our RA customer TRX all table to meet, of course, one of our customer requirement, and this was not created properly. So we dropped the custom index and redone the AutoInvoice program, which resolved the issue. So later we identified the exact issue with our custom index and fixed the same and remigrated the same to our production environment. So it's basically like custom index was created, say, kind of say today, and tomorrow when we run your AutoInvoice program, it got completed in with this invalid error message. So something like that. So just like one day after creation of the custom index, the AutoInvoice program started creating this problem. The other issues like AutoInvoice program is not picking up the records which exist in AR interface table with the interface status as null. So interface status is null, it is not processed, but still AutoInvoice program was not picking up of those records. So again, there was no clue as to why it is not picking up in the AutoInvoice error, AutoInvoice output or log file. So again, after analysis, we found that these records has a request ID populated by previous run and that request completed in error some because of some database issue. So what has happened is the records whatever we are expecting so far those records in the AR interface table request ID is automatically it is actually already populated. Then we realized as to why it is populated. So we just picked up the request ID and went to the FND concurrent request screen and find out what's the problem with that particular request ID. And that particular request ID is an earlier run of our auto invoice program and that was completed in error with some database error. So nobody realized that. And now what we have done is now we have removed that particular request ID from the AR interface table, and after removing of the request ID, your AutoInvoice program was able to pick up these records. So whenever AutoInvoice program is running, you should ensure that all the records in your interface table, which has the interface status as null and which you are expecting those records to be imported, you should ensure that request ID is null. Okay, so the next is about receipt issues. Unable to account receipt which is reversed. So there is a receipt which was accounted successfully, and then we have actually reversed that receipt for some reason, and the reversal is not accounted successfully. So after analysis, we found that we have entered a say customer name for the receipt, saved it, and then changed the customer name. And now this has resulted in some kind of a corruption. Whenever you change the customer name, it is resulting in some kind of a corruption. System did not allow the receipt to be accounted. So, okay, I should say system did not allow the receipt to be accounted. So Oracle Datafix resolved the issue, and for a long-term solution, Oracle provided a patch. I mean, the good thing is it's a consistent issue. We were able to replicate that even in a non-production environment. So that's how we raised an SR with Oracle, and Oracle was able to provide a patch for the issue. And unable to close the period. So you were unable to close the period. Again, your unaccounted transactions report or subledger period close exception report. None of those reports are actually showing any kind of a clue on that. And at last, we ran the period close analyzer program, and this shows that there is some kind of an orphan record. So raised an SR with Oracle, and Oracle Database resolved the issue. Unfortunately, Oracle is not able to provide any permanent fix this. So when we raise an SR, they are asking us to actually replicate the issue. I mean, obviously, this is kind of an intermittent issue. Even we are not able to replicate the issue. So this issue is actually still going on. Like once in a blue moon, we get this kind of an orphan records, and we raise an SR with Oracle. They provide the data fix, and that resolves the issue. And there was another scenario wherein like we were not able to close the period, and we ran the unaccounted transactions report, which doesn't have any clue. Create accounting program output also doesn't show any clue. Subledger period close exception report also doesn't show any clue. So after analysis, we found that there are some adjustments which are pending for an approval. So as far as I remember, like we did not have similar kind of issue in our 11i environment, but whenever we have upgraded to R12, we started seeing this behavior. So if there are any kind of an AR adjustment which are pending for an approval, either it should have been approved or it should be rejected. But if it is pending for an approval, system will not allow the period to be closed. And unfortunately, you will not get any kind of an error message or warning message in any of these reports, unaccounted transactions report or create accounting output or your subledger period close exception report. So we did an analysis and we found that there are some adjustments which are pending for an approval. We have asked for the user to either approve or reject. After approving or rejecting of those records, we were able to close the period. So again, user was not happy with this, and then what we have done is, as part of the month end close checklist, we have asked the user to start running our custom pending AR adjustments program. So we have developed a custom AR adjustment, custom report which shows pending AR adjustments, and we have asked the user to make it as a part of their checklist that they need to run this particular report just before they close the AR period. And the another scenario is like unconfirmed receipts exist in AR. We were using your automatic receipt functionality, and there are certain receipts which are in approved status but not yet confirmed. System is not allowing the to close the period until these are confirmed. So as a workaround, we have confirmed these receipts and close the period. So, but ideally, system should not stop closing the period if there are unconfirmed receipts. So we have raised an SR with Oracle, and Oracle has given a patch, and this resolved the issue permanently. So that means after applying of this particular patch, even though there are receipts which are in unconfirmed status, system allowed the period to be closed. The another scenario is like on one particular day, none of the invoices or receipts are accounted for the day. And when we check the create accounting output, it says the invalid application accounting definition. So what has happened is previous night somebody made some changes to the SLA rules. So whenever you make any changes to the SLA rules, especially for any module, you need to run validate application accounting definition program. So user has made some changes to the SLA rule under application receivables, and he forgot to run the validate application accounting definition program. So after running a validate application accounting definition program and then running up the create accounting, resolve the issue. Okay, the next issue is about AutoLockbox. We were not using AutoLockbox in our current client, but in our previous client, we were using AutoLockbox. So whatever I was able to recollect, so I just put it in this document. So logbox input shows the following error in the log file. So it says like all logbox ID is null, entering so and so, creating SQL loader data file. So that's the, I mean, this is the error message in the log file, logbox log file. So after analysis, we found that the control file is not placed in the appropriate document. We should always ensure that the control file is placed in the AR top /bin. And after placing up the control file in that particular top, it resolved the issue. I mean, this just happened on our roughly, I think, first or second day for go live with the AutoLockbox. The second issue is about Lockbox program terminated with signal 11 error. So we were calling Lockbox from our custom process, and we realized that we are not passing all the required parameters, and one of the parameter which is missing is the org ID. So obviously, org ID is the mandatory parameter which we need to pass. So after passing the org ID, the issue is resolved. The next issue is like when submitting the logbox program from the submit logbox form, getting the below error. The error says, even though there are records in AR payment interface table with status new record, they are not picked up by our program. So after analysis, we found that there are some invalid object in the system. So I think invalid objects, if I remember correctly, the invalid objects were created in the system after application of some other AR related patch. So compiling up those invalid objects resolve the issue. Okay, so the next issue is about our automatic receipts. So again, we were using automatic receipts in our current client. Automatic receipt approval process fails with this below error message. The error message says exact fetch returns more than the requested number of rows in so package. After analysis, we found that one of the customers associated with the receipt have more than one site which is marked as a primary. So we have made only one of the customer site as primary, and that resolved the issue. And the next error message about automatic receipts approval is failing. The log of the automatic receipts shows something like below. It says like inserting into AR distributions cannot insert null into so table. So again, it was not kind of a self-explanatory as to what exactly the issue looks like. There is some issue with the AR distribution. So we analyzed the reason for that, and then we found that there is some issue with some of the GL account code combinations which are used. And after enabling of those GL code combination issues resolved. And the next error is about automatic receipt execution report is not showing exceptions when it is run from the submit request screen. Exceptions are written to the AR automatic auto rec exceptions table, but they are not showing in the report output. Again, we raised an SR with Oracle, and Oracle patch resolve the issue. So these are of some of the issues which I was able to recollect, and I just put in this particular document so that it will be useful for the people who are watching this video. I'll just try to create a similar kind of videos for the other modules as well in the future. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video, and for interesting videos on Oracle Financials, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.